Hey, my name is Nick Tan and I'm a digital marketing agency owner. And today we're going to be talking about how I scaled my business to over 7 figures using the sales framework. Over the past few years, I've taken 2,000 sales calls myself personally. Not only that, but I've also built a sales team out for my business, and each one of my sales reps takes anywhere from 5 to 8 sales calls a day using this exact framework. And as a result, my business makes over $100,000 a month. All right, so let's get into it. So the goal of the sales call is to make sure that your potential client is a good fit for your services. It's important to note that not every single person that hops on a sales call with you is going to be a good fit. So in order to figure that out, it's very important that you're asking questions and you're not just spewing out a bunch of stuff trying to pitch them or anything like that. So for example, when it comes to selling agency services to, let's say, a local business, it's important to understand exactly where that business is at. So for example, if I'm talking to a roofer, I want to understand exactly how many jobs they can handle every single month. If they're a one-man show or if they have a team, do they have a marketing budget? So I want to understand exactly what it is they're doing, because that's going to allow me to figure out if the services I offer is going to be a good fit in the first place. So after I gather some of that information, I might actually tell them that they're not a good fit right then and there, and I might potentially end the call. For our ideal client, when it comes to like a roofing company, we're looking for a business that's established. We want them to be able to handle anywhere from 5 to 10 jobs a month. They generally need at least a minimum of $2,000 to $3,000 in ad spend. And they also have to have systems in place where they can call the leads very quickly and take advantage of these hot leads coming in. The other thing that's really important to understand at this stage is to understand what they are currently doing for marketing. So if you're selling marketing services, you need to understand the things that they're already doing, the strategies that they're doing. So if they're relying on, let's say, purchasing leads from other companies, third-party vendors and things like that, which is very big in the roofing space, then they're going to be a great fit for running Facebook ads, because those leads are generally low quality versus Facebook ad leads are generally a lot more higher quality, and they're in-house for this specific business. If the business is also relying on, let's say, word of mouth and referrals, then they're also a really good fit, because generally that means they don't have predictability in their business. They have to hope for a lead to come in, or they have to hope for the phone to ring. So now that you understand the goal of a sales call, let's jump into the actual process of my 7-figure sales script. So the first step is just having some rapport with the client. Generally, this is going to be anywhere from like a minute to 2 minutes max. You don't want to get into too deep of rapport. You just want to make sure that you have a friendly start to the conversation. Step 2 is pre-framing the call. How you want to pre-frame it is just by telling them exactly how the call is going to go and what you're actually going to run through. So typically we say something like, hey, what we're going to do over the next 45 to 50 minutes is figure out exactly what it is you need help with and see if what we have here is actually going to be beneficial to you. And if it is, and it makes sense for us to work together, we can discuss what that looks like. Then we're going to dive in and figure out what their actual problem is. So this is going to entail us actually figuring out and asking them questions about their business and what their current situation is. So here you want to ask questions like what it is that they're doing for marketing. What is it that they're currently struggling with? Can they handle X amount of jobs every single month? You also want to ask them if they have a marketing budget and things like that, just to figure out exactly what it is that they're doing. And what you're trying to do here is exactly figure out what they're doing in their business, so that way you can see if what you have to offer is going to actually benefit them. So for example, if they're currently buying leads from a third-party vendor, then it will 100% make sense for them to run ads. If they're also just focusing on referrals, word of mouth, radio ads, billboard ads, and things like that, that's also going to be super beneficial to them. However, if you're hearing things like, I don't have a budget to invest into marketing, I've only just started up my business, I don't have any team members, and I can't handle that much work every single month, then they likely won't be a good fit for your services. Really what you're trying to do here is figure out if they're a good fit, and you need to understand exactly what your ideal client profile is when you're on a sales call as well. Step 4 is actually educating them on the solution. So if you figured out that they are a great fit and they have all these problems, you want to create desire with the solution right now. So this is educating them on how ads work. And it's not so much going into how to actually set up the ads, but it's actually going into the benefits of ads versus what they're doing. So for example, if they are just focused on referrals and that's how they get all their leads and clients, then what you want to do is highlight the fact that they don't have to actually hope and wait for someone to call them, or they don't have to hope for a referral to come in, versus the fact that if they had ads going, they're going to have control, right? All they have to do if they want more leads and more clients is to turn up the budget on their ad spend. So once you've actually built up the interest, you want to temp check them and just make sure that it's actually a good fit so far. So an easy way to temp check is just to first and foremost ask them if they actually understand or have any questions about what you just talked about in the education process. The second thing is to make sure that they can actually see themselves utilizing a service like this. So an easy way to ask that is, can you actually see yourself utilizing this service and it actually helping your business and actually benefiting your business? If they've said yes to all of those, then you know you have the green light to go into the next phase. And I like to temp check them 2 or 3 times before I move on to the next part. Step 6 is to actually figure out what their goals are with this service. So this is also a way for you to figure out if it's still a good fit. So now that you know their problem, you know that they're interested in the solution, you want to make sure that they actually have big enough goals where the solution makes sense for them. So what I mean by that is if they only want to get an additional client a month, it probably doesn't make sense to set up an ad campaign. However, if they're looking to grow by 5 to 10 clients, hire another team to take on more projects every single month and eventually grow to really big, then that's someone that you really want to help support. So if they're looking to grow, then you want to figure out what their goals are. And essentially that's going to create a gap because they're going to be at X amount of clients every single month and they want to be, let's say, at 20 new clients every single month and they don't know how to get there, right? Especially if they're focusing on something like referrals, they don't really have control of getting there. Whereas what we're doing is we're saying, we can provide you the solution and help you hit your goals by utilizing the services that we have to offer. Step 7 is to actually pitch. So now you know their problems, you know their goals, and they're bought in on the service itself. Now you want to just present your offer, right? You want to go into the deliverables, the pricing, what it looks like to work with you, the timeline, and essentially figure out the logistics of the sale. And then from there, it's just making sure that they can afford it and they pay you and that's pretty much it. A lot of people get hung up at this part and forget to ask for the sale, or they're scared to ask for the sale. So if you're feeling like you're scared to ask for the sale, it's very likely you have not completed steps 1 through 6 correctly. If you've done all those correctly, it should be very seamless and it should feel natural for you to ask for the sale. The reason why steps 1 through 6 are super important is because if you've gone through those steps correctly, you know they have a problem, you know they want your service and the solution that you have to offer, and you know exactly what their goals are, and you know that your solution is the way for them to get to those goals. So if you've done those parts correctly, the only logical next step is for them to work with you. So once you've done that, then the next part is to just tell them the pricing, making sure you go into the deliverables and asking for the sale. So how you would ask for the sale is once you present those things, ask them, do you feel like this is a good fit and we should be working together based on what I've just gone over, or do you have any other questions about it? If they say yes, then fantastic. All you got to do is process the sale and you're good to go. If they say no, then it's important to figure out why they are saying no. And generally, they're going to give you an objection of some sort. And all you need to do is just get clarity on that objection. Sometimes these calls will close on that specific call, and sometimes it takes a follow-up call. So don't be discouraged if someone says no, because generally it's not the fact that they don't want to work with you. It could be something like a logistical financial objection where they potentially have to move money, or they have to check with their accountant, or they might have a decision maker objection where they have to get it checked with their business partner, or the fact that they just maybe want to check in with their business partner and just let them know that they're going to do this investment. So in that case, what you would do is just schedule a follow-up call for 24 hours from now and just frame it as a decision call, where it's not a follow-up call for the sake of just having another follow-up call, but it's a follow-up call to either get a yes or a no. So this is my entire process and sales framework that I've used over the past few years. And not only that, but this is the exact sales script that my sales team uses every single day as well, that has generated my business well over 7 figures. So if you start to implement some of these things, you'll start to see improvements in your own sales process and you'll start to close more clients. If you're watching this video, you're most likely an agency owner or you're looking to start your own digital marketing agency. I've helped hundreds of people start their own marketing agency and hundreds of other agency owners actually scale up their marketing agencies as well. So if you're interested in starting your own agency or you need help with scaling yours to the next level, follow me over on Instagram and DM me if you want to get started. We have a ton of free resources available, and we're always adding new stuff to help you get started on your journey. Subscribe for more videos like this, and we'll see you next time.